We're going to fill in with another Q&A session while we're working on the Orion Feud series. Question 1. I am a bit confused about the queen you talk of living in the Big Dipper. Is this the Queen of Queens, so to speak, the source creator energy, or is this just a daughter queen creator? Answer. The Big Dipper is the queen's domain, yes. She doesn't necessarily dwell there, it's just one of her domains. But she has a lot of daughters, princesses, whom she sent out to different star constellations to oversee them. In these constellations they are considered queens. In that sense there are many Orion queens. Question 2. Could you expand on how Lucifer is male? If you could elaborate more on how the male energy was created, since Mother Creator could only create female energy. Answer. He is male because he was born from an unfertilized egg. If the queen had let the egg be fertilized, he would have become a female. In the beginning, everything was female, even the queen's offspring. At that time, all life in the universe were androgynous. Female energy is introverted and creative, but when the divine feminine, all that is, decided to divide herself, male energy was automatically created because the male energy is outward forward. Thus, the androgynous beings had then both female and male energy within them. At one point, the queen decided to divide the two into female and male, so the universe/Ka had more potentials for expansion. However, many star races are still androgynous. Question 3. How could Lucifer have enough power to overtake the queen and overtake Tiamaat if she is indeed the Queen of Queens? Answer. That's the beauty with the experiment, which is called the Ka/universe. You never know what will happen because everybody has freedom of choice. The queen is not snooping on what star beings are doing and thinking. If she did, the universe would be hierarchical and dictatorial. We have free will and thus free choice, which leads to consequences. On the other hand, the queen was not here in our solar system in the physical when the invasion happened, other than she had inserted a part of her spirit in Tiamaat and Mars. The human experiment had already started and shouldn't be interfered with, even if an invasion would happen. Yes, the star beings who were here and taken by surprise had the right to defend themselves and the experiment, but if they lost the battle, which they did, it was a part of the consequences of this experiment. So the experiment went on from there. It was an unexpected consequence, but as soon as there is an obstacle, the experiment can't just be terminated. Question 4. Humanity has been indoctrinated with religious beliefs from a very young age, even if they haven't gone to church or read the Bible. How does one let go of these beliefs and form new beliefs and truths? Answer. This is one of the hardest walls to break through. It has been stated by the Wingmakers material that we in our composition have been created with a built-in God program that is a vital part of our makeup. We have several of these built-in programs. Fear of death is another. How do we overcome or let go of beliefs that we have been indoctrinated with? There is only one way to do that: knowledge. We must commit to having an open mind and expanding our knowledge until we reach a point that we become aware of the inconsistencies, the inversion of these beliefs, and whether these beliefs are beneficial. In the end, it must be a personal choice and not something we can tell you how to do. Everyone will break down their own barriers in their own way. Question 5. Our higher self is feminine in nature, and would this be considered the Holy Spirit? And our artificial self is the ego, which may be masculine in nature. Or does this not matter? Yes, that would be accurate. And in an even larger perspective, the Holy Spirit would be the all that is, the Divine Feminine. Question 6. Please explain more on densities and the dimensions, please, as I am not quite sure I am understanding the differences between the two. Answer. Let's say that there are 12 dimensions, and we live in the third dimension. Each dimension is then divided into a myriad of sub-dimensions, which we call densities. We could, for example, say that we live in the third dimension, the 64th density, while a certain other star race lives in the third dimension, the 87th density. I'm just making the numbers up for the discussion's sake. We wouldn't be able to visit the other star race unless we start vibrating on their density level. Hope this makes sense. All star beings with physical bodies live in a density within the third dimension. Question 7. I keep getting ringing in my ears, and it's happening every single day sporadically. What could this mean? Answer. Many New Age teachers think that certain physical phenomena happen because we are raising our frequency and are descending. We doubt it. There could be many causes for this, some of them medically explained. We hear and read about many people who experience this, but we do not, so we can't speak about it from our personal experience. Is it Wi-Fi, scalar waves, energy weapons? It's difficult to say. Question 8. Humans who get access to internet learn about Marduk, Enki, etc. and gain the awareness. What will happen to others who spent the whole life for family, children, with kindness and love and without any knowledge of internet, like our mother? It is hard to make them understand all this. Same time, it is not fair for them to die without knowing anything. What will happen to them who lived the life with so much love and kindness, but living life without any of the truth? This is a very sensitive question, we are aware of that. It's a question we think many people have. Any one of us only do the best we can to bring awareness to those who are ready for it. We know that many gentle, loving and compassionate people who, sadly, are not aware of the truth around them. From an objective, non-emotional perspective, everyone has just as much of a chance to wake up as everyone else. If one person can find the truth, then all people have the opportunity or the potential to find the truth. We must do our best to accept this objective perspective, or risk holding on to attachments that will prevent us from leaving. It doesn't mean we stop caring about and loving those people in our lives. Love them enormously while you are still here. But in the end, we must be willing to accept that not everyone will leave. This is an experiment in free will, which means that we graduate depending on what choices we make. The reason you are awake and someone else is not, regardless of how loving they are, is that you made choices over the course of lifetimes that brought you to the insights you have now. Others didn't. They made other choices. Not until your mother, for example, makes choices that leads her toward a path where she realizes that she has been manipulated her entire life can she break free. It must be up to her. No one else can make the choices and decisions for her. Question 9. What do you all think about animal souls? Were we ever animals at any time during our incarnations? Answer. We doubt it. We are the Namlu'u, the primordial souls in this experiment. We are of the human soul group, while the animals belong to the animal kingdom soul group. They have their own evolution that is separate from ours. Question 10. What is the significance of the 13th zodiac sign, Ophiuchus? Answer. I don't have much significant information on that, other than what I've encountered is that this is the zodiac sign where the gods rested between ruling the solar matrix via the zodiac. But I don't have enough info to elaborate on that. This might sound very esoteric, but I suggest reading the Wes Penre paper level 4, paper 15, the section called Ruling with Help from the Zodiac, in order to understand better how the Zodiac was set up. Also keep in mind that the Zodiac that we see must be seen from Earth. If we fly to another star system, the night sky will obviously look different, and the Zodiac we know is non-applicable. Question 11. In view of the possible titanium-based ships that have appeared around Jupiter in the last few years, and the shutting down of Hubble, and according to astronomers and other deep space eyes, is it true that there is a standoff between the Andromedans and their allies around Saturn, and the AIF, Earth Drax, around Jupiter, and these astronomical viewing systems might see too much? If it's not the Andromedans around Saturn, then who might it be? Answer. There have been battles on and off in and just outside our solar system over the years. Some of them are internal battles between different factions of the alien invader force AIF. And other battles appear to be the AIF chasing off other star races who try to penetrate. Because the entire grid system is damaged because of people waking up, and from previous battles, other star races can now enter the Matrix unless the DAC army, the AIF, fights them off. We don't give much credit to the Andromedan Draco races in the sense the UFO field described them. The Draconians are Marduk soldiers, and they don't look like Dracos. Alpha Draconis used to belong to the Orion Empire, but was invaded by Marduk a long time ago. It's called Draconis because the queen is a dragon. They are on Marduk's side. The Andromedans have nothing to do with Matrix battles. They live in the Ka. Alex Collier's contact with the Andromedans is disinformation, although I don't think Collier has intentionally deceived us. Question 12. Do you know if there is something like timelines? If so, what is the purpose of it? Answer. Yes, something like timelines does exist from what we have learned. We have individual timelines and collective timelines. All these lines are laid out in front of us as potentials. As we go about our lives, making decisions, no matter how big or small, we place ourselves more firmly into one or more of these potential lines. If we make enough of these decisions that align with specific outcomes, we make what was before only a potential line into a probable line. Remember that all time happens simultaneously, and so all potential outcomes have already been determined. The choices we make determine which lines we are on. This is fluid and always changing depending on our choices. There are an infinite number of potential timelines we could be following every nanosecond. Some lines are so similar that the timelines are very close together, and we would barely notice if we had slightly changed course. Some of them are so different from the line we are on that when we make a decision that puts us on one of these faraway potential lines, we can't help but notice. Have you ever felt like your world is just gone crashing down, or is an upheaval of some kind? That was likely a shift onto a very different potential line that was not very close to the one you were previously on. You made a big change and thus experienced a sudden shift of events in your life and now become aligned with a new line. Question 13. Now that you revealed important information in your recent videos, is it possible you and Ariel could do a video exclusively on the spirit guides and oversouls from your Wes Penre papers in a new perspective? Answer. We don't think we need to do a whole video on that. Spirit guides, as we call them, are beings from within the Matrix, who are assigned to steer you in certain directions when called for. This will be better explained in the Orion video series we're in the middle of producing right now. Question 14. I wanted to get your insight into a book I was currently reading titled The Master Key System by Charles F. Harnell, published in 1916. It was the basis and likely inspiration to the 21st century's The Secret, which I never read, by the way. According to Wikipedia, it states the following about the Master Key System. The ideas behind the book mainly come from New Thought philosophy, but there are influences from other sources such as Masonism and Rosicrucian teaching, Theosophy and the Bible. I am currently reading your WPP, the 5th level of learning, paper 14, The End of Kali Yuga, when the world religions become one. There is a mention from you regarding the law of attraction, the secret book, Rosicrucians, as well as talking extensively of Theosophy in video 81. What are your thoughts on the Master Key System book? Is it just another disinformation tool like The Secret? Answer. The Master Key System is based on the 7 Hermetic principles Thoth. Yes, there is truth in this book, as well as in The Secret. It is not disinformation as much as it is misunderstood information. Both of these writings can be a benefit to understanding how our reality is set up and how to create within it. Question 15. What do you recommend in terms of shielding techniques? Answer. Without having any details, we can only give a general answer, but keep in mind that most of what we perceive as psychic attacks are really just the result of being on the same frequency wavelength as someone who is thinking bad thoughts about you. You are feeling the vibration of those thoughts that the other person has directed at you. Anything more sophisticated than that is just like pulling in your own thought forms from 4D, because we are so focused on this specific type of energy and we bring it to manifestation for ourselves. Spells, curses and things such as that are based on belief and intention. If you believe these things have an effect on you, then they will. If you do believe in them, then they won't. If you do not believe in them, then they won't. In other words, if you think you are being attacked, then you will cause yourself to feel attacked. The best kind of shield is to raise your frequency and vibration above whatever it is that you think you need protection from. If you feel like you are in the vicinity of very negative energy, then do whatever raises your frequency so that you are no longer in that space where the negative energy is a match to your state of being. Question 16. Can you give specifics on what your options are? Other than Orion, once you leave the grid into the car? Do we have to make the assumption that loved ones who have passed without this detailed knowledge have already been recycled? My loved one, is he toast? Answer. You can go anywhere you want. You can explore the universe, if you like. Anything is more or less a thought away. Then you can think yourself back again, or to another location if you wish. When you're tired of exploring, you can always think yourself to the court of Orion to see the Orion Queen. And yes, your loved one is most likely already reincarnated. She still has the chance to make choices, however, to leave the Matrix. It depends on whether this information will still be available then, and how awake this person is. Question 17. Should we take on less of a humanitarian role in this life and just focus on ourselves? Do we have a positive force acting in our favor? The force of the entire universe, love, is acting in our favor once we reconnect to our true spiritual self. The universe wants what is for your benefit. The universe expands as we expand. By focusing on ourselves, we are taking on a more humanitarian role in life. We are human after all. We also have an effect on everyone around us just by sharing the same space. So what we do for ourselves, we also do for others. There is a misunderstanding that we must keep service to self and service to others separate, and that one must be neglected in favor of the other. In fact, there is no separation between these two concepts, as we can't do one without the other. Other than that, we believe we should do what our heart tells us. What is our passion? Is it to do humanitarian work? If yes, do it. It's an excellent thing to do for those who have that call. However, focusing on our own growth must always come first, but there is a lot of personal growth in helping others too. Question 18. Do you know of a good resource to help with out-of-body experiences who is not in on the agenda? I've heard the Monroe Institute, for example, is not a good resource as they are corrupted. I have experimented on my own, but I need some specific information from a trusted source. Answer. The Monroe Institute still does the job, corrupt or not. They can teach you how to do it, but it costs quite some money. We recommend William Buhlman, who has his own video channel and has written at least 3 books on the subject. He has been doing it and taught it for many decades. Question 19. What do you think about the law of action and reaction? It means when someone is doing bad things, then bad things are coming back to him, and doing good things coming back. Mark Passio, ex-satanic priest, in his videos explained how the natural law works. He said that natural law are rules that come from Prime Creator. He also said that the ruling elite knows how the natural law works, and they know how to bypass it. For example, they never do the dirty work. They are giving orders, and then they are not under the law of action and reaction. The other person who is actually doing it is under this law, because giving orders is not doing it. The other person has free will and can say no. Answer. That'll probably work for a while. Let others do the dirty work on the ground, while they sit in their office and pull the strings. It's just that sooner or later many of these controllers make mistakes, and they get it back. Overall, we can see that this kind of operation will work for a psychopath to some extent. Will it work for you and me? Probably not. We have conscience, empathy, and compassion. And because of our bad conscience, we will probably subconsciously screw up, so we can get caught, which would be a way to stop ourselves from doing such horrible acts. We would most likely stop ourselves one way or another, if we're true souls. However, the ruling elite are a superstitious bunch. They are working on a misguided karma system, which they have probably been manipulated into believing exists. The fact that they never do the dirty job probably has more to do with not going to jail than it does for any type of prime directive, to be honest. With that being said, we are familiar with Mark Passio and his natural law series, and he does a great job with explaining some of these concepts, such as frequency, masculine and feminine. He has come to his information from a different direction, so not all his information will align with ours, but we can recommend him. He's very knowledgeable. More Q&A sessions to come. Feel free to submit your questions at wespenreproductions@gmail.com.